In the Impact segment tonight, as we reported last night, the anti-meat eating people are really stepping up their campaigns. PETA, in particular, is going wild.
Unicorns! Dolphins are cuter! I'll get it. The pizza's here.
With extra sausage.
Oh, hey!
What happened to the sausage?
The groceries are here. Ooh, zucchini.
But the key question here is not propaganda, it's health. Is meat eating good or bad? Joining us from Los Angeles, Rory Friedman, the author of the best-selling book, Skinny Bitch, which I thought was another dog book until I started reading it. And here in our New York studio, Tanya Zuckerbrot, a dietitian and the author of the book, The F Factor Diet, which is fiber. All right, Tanya, eating meat. Do you eat meat?
I do eat meat. Do you eat meat?
I do.
Okay. Well, the truth is, when it comes to these commercials, I'm less offended by the overt sexuality than the incomplete message that they're sending. The fact that PETA is trying to say that somehow eating meat leads to erectile dysfunction or impotency.
Well, I know they say it flat out causes impotence.
Or that being a vegan increases sexual drive is completely unfounded. There are no studies that support this. In addition, many vegan diets lack the essential nutrients that actually increase sexual drive, which are B12, iron, zinc.
To be fair, though, we hear that eating a lot of red meat raises cholesterol, fat content, colon cancer. You know, the stats are there that a heavy meat diet is not really, unless you're working out like a madman, is not really what you should be doing.
Well, that's a diet heavy in saturated fats, but there are many lean cuts of meat, beef, pork, lamb, and veal. There are cuts of beef, for example, that are actually leaner than, for example, chicken.
And you don't have any ethical problem eating animals at all, right?
I do not, no.
All right. But Rory, you do, correct?
I've got all sorts of problems with eating animals. The first one, absolutely, for me, is the ethical issue. You know, so many Americans call ourselves animal lovers, but we stop that compassion when we're talking about animals raised for food. And the truth is, animals killed for food are treated in ways that we can't even speak of or show on TV because everybody wants to close their ears, close their eyes, and keep doing what they want and eating what they want.
Now, if they were more humane methods, and I agree there, I don't want any animals to be, you know, suffering, and I don't think most fair-minded people do. But I eat meat, and I eat meat for health reasons and because it tastes good. It's a quality of life issue for me. I don't eat a lot of meat. I try to be moderate in all of my consumptions. But I kind of resent being told by PETA that I'm some kind of savage for doing it. You know, you see what I'm talking about here?
I understand what you're saying. I get it. And I tell you what, I used to eat meat for every single meal, and I didn't want anyone to tell me anything about it. But when I learned about what was happening not only in the factory farms and the slaughterhouses, but how it was affecting my health, I really took notice.
But isn't that an individual decision? Shouldn't people get the data? Look, to put a thing on the screen that eating meat causes impotence is absolutely false. It's false.
You know what? Here's the thing. We talk about meat, we talk about clogging arteries, and when we're eating foods that are high in cholesterol, fat, and saturated fat, we are looking at a clogging of the arteries, not only to just the heart, but other organs as well.
Okay, that's fine, and you can make that point, but you can't extrapolate the other out of it. That's rank propaganda. Look, I don't feel guilty eating meat, even though I know that the meat industry should be better and the chicken industry and all of that should be better. But I don't feel guilty. It's an individual choice. And I don't want people telling me that I'm a bad guy for, you know, exercising. I'm a healthy guy. I'm lucky. I have good health. All right?
Well, you know what? I would love to say this. It's not propaganda, like you said. We're looking at things that are coming from PETA, and we're going to call it animal rights propaganda. But when we're looking at sound science, we're talking about the American Dietetic Association, the World Health Organization, the Surgeon General.
They don't say you should be vegetarians. Nobody says that. No, do they?
They actually all
the
tell us.
The American Dietetic Association absolutely supports the inclusion of lean meats in the diet. It's part of the food guide pyramid that is not just supported by the ADA, but the USDA. You could see it on the side of a box of cereal. You could see that there is a category for lean proteins. And to go to the other extreme, diets that are vegan are often lacking, as I was saying, in B12, zinc, and iron. And iron and zinc and B12, without those, that leads to lower testosterone levels, which that then can lead to impotency.
All right, well, look, I'm not even going to get into that because unless I see a study that links some diet with some kind of problem in that area, I'm just not going to buy it. One more question for you, Rory, because I'm interested in this. Don't you think that exploiting women, I mean, in those commercials, you know, does that bother you? I mean, yeah, I know you're worried about the lambs and the chickens and everything, but what about the ladies?
Well, you know what? I'm a feminist, and I'm an animal rights activist, and a vegetarian, and I think PETA does a great job in getting an important message out there to people who are otherwise uninterested.
They market very, very well. Are you offended by this stuff? I'm not offended because I'm a barbarian.
I think PETA has honestly lost its way. What started out as with a well-intended, humane message has gone extreme. And in a recent poll on AOL today, 59% of Americans are actually anti-PETA because their methods of getting their message across have become so aggressive.
But I have to say, they do come in. They will debate. So they're not drive-bys. Ladies, very interesting. We appreciate